What a week we have had. In fact, I think it was just over a week ago that I had sent you a message about participating in our NCAA tournament bracket and a few quick notes about the market and how the market's moving. And now all of that is completely irrelevant. So like many of you, I've been spending much of the last week really trying to figure out what's going on and what this means both for, I guess for our immediate family, for our friends, for our clients, for our business, and for the world as a whole. There's just a lot to take in, and I think you've all been probably dealing with a lot of that too. I honestly have a lot to say and share about how this is going to impact our generation's place in history, how we all process crisis and change in different ways, and about how to use this time for good. But quite frankly, I'm just not sure this is the platform. So if anybody wants to talk about that stuff, give me a call. Happy to chat. What I do think is appropriate for this platform is how your real estate world will be affected. Much like everything else, real estate is moving quickly to adjust to our new reality. What could be true and best practice and what's happening today could be completely irrelevant in 24 hours. So the key here is we need to stay flexible, and we need to make sure that we're just staying on top of things and adjusting as the world changes. Here is what we know today. First of all, new listings in the area have not slowed down at all. In fact, throughout March, even with talk of this coming, they've remained right on par of the past 5 years. Each week in March, we typically see 150 to 200 houses hit the market on a given week. And we've been right in that range. Properties are still continuing to come on the market. And I don't have data historically for how fast they're getting accepted offers and going off the market. But what I can tell you is that each week in March, Dane County has seen more accepted offers this year than the week before it. Now, we've obviously had our most intense week, over the past few days. And I expect to see some changes over the next week. But to the point we're at today, we've kind of seen a consistent march. Rates have moved up a little bit, but to put things into perspective, we're sitting right now where we were in mid-January of this year. So, we can't let that freak us out. And they still haven't cleared 4%, which is where we were at times over the last 12 months when a lot of things were happening. Realistically, rates are not an issue. I'm not sure if they're going to go down or back up again or where they're going to go. So that's just another thing we need to stay flexible with. So let's talk a little bit about what this means for what is quite likely going to be a new recession and how that can affect housing here in our area. This is a valid concern. People are unfortunately losing or going to lose their jobs. There's going to be a number of people that are making less money, and a lot of people are seeing their investments plummet. So there's going to be a change in disposable income in qualification for a lot of people, and that's going to have an impact on our market. We understand that, but I do want to put things in perspective. Here we have basically a graph of both active properties at the end of each month active properties at the end of each month and number of sales as the recession hit around December of 2007 is where things really kicked in. But just this is leading up to it. So if we take a look, 2006, 2007, we peaked out at 5,500 active properties in Dane County. That's single family and condos. So 5,500, let's remember that number. As well as sales were, topped out just over 3,000 twice, and bottomed out around 1,500 during that time. So between 4,000 and 5,500 active properties at any given time in 2006, 2007. And if we go and take a look at how that changes 2008, 2009, we're looking between 4,250 and 5,250. So, roughly between 4,000 and 5,500 properties on the market at any given time from 2006 to 2009. That's how many are on the market. Now, if we go to the last few years, let's look at 2018 and 2019 and look how the chart has flipped. This active property line down here used to be up here during the recession. During the peak of the recession, we were way up above 4,000. But if we go and take a look at 2018, 2019, and see where we're at, our active listings are topping out at 1,500. So 1,500 properties on the market at the end of any given month in Dane County is the peak. That's the most we've had, as opposed to 4,000 or 5,500 during the recession. So we have a long ways to go before we have a surplus of housing, which is what we saw during that time period. Likewise, if we look at sales, we're still getting up. We're up to over 1,000 sales and down to a minimum of just over 300. Where, back in this time, we were just over, 100 in January of 2009, and we peaked at about 800. This is 2020 right now. Active listings did go up. Here's our downward trend, and here's our sales, which is to be expected during that December, January, February time period. This is what I want to make sure everybody hears, is it's likely we're going to see a recession, and we are going to be affected by that. But with what happened during the previous recession, we have a long ways to go to get to that point and those types of numbers. It's just very, very far off, and it's going to take some time before we're in that situation. So right now, I think we're going to have a week or two of uncertainty, and I think things will continue to move from that point. The other thing regarding recession was depreciation or drop in home values. And I want to remind everybody that while Madison saw a small drop in home values, what we did not see is the same level and intensity in home depreciation that was seen around the country. Madison is a very insulated and continues to be a very strong place to buy and own property. Even during tough times, it's been safer than much of the rest of the country. And at this point, I don't see that being much of a change. If you look at what Madison is built on, it's the government, the university, and quite frankly, right now, biotech and software, which are both going to be extremely important during the coming time period. So what does that mean for you? First of all, if you are looking to buy a home and you are in that position, I think what you're probably going to see is slightly less competition, which is going to be favorable to you. I think it's going to be an okay time to buy a house as far as you're not going to be competing with as many other people and having to concede as many things on your offers. If you are a seller, there are still buyers out there. There are still people buying houses, writing offers. There are still people that are going to be financially stable. And there are always people that need a place to live. Although there are buyers out there, there may be fewer. And so you might not get the same type of offers that you would have received, say, a month ago. For both buyers and sellers, what we need to do is remain flexible throughout things. There may be some changing deadlines or timelines in an effort to get everybody to where they want to be as a result of things that are, quite frankly, out of everybody's control. Now, for those of you looking to make a move, here's how we're changing what we do at this time. First of all, there are some things that we've always done and we're going to continue doing. So number one is communication. You can always reach out to us. Text, email, phone call, whatever's going to be best for you. Let me know. You want to have a Zoom conference or a FaceTime or whatever it is. We've always done that. That's always been part of our process, and that's not going to change. Likewise, we will continue to do electronic signatures. We can discuss paperwork over the phone or even face-to-face virtually, and you can sign it from your phone or your computer at home. That hasn't changed. That's always been something that we've done. Likewise, our marketing of properties is actually set up to take advantage of this type of a market. We have always dove into the idea that our job is to try to get people to fall in love with your house before they come and step foot in your house. So what that's meant for us is drone footage so people can see the neighborhood. It is interior video so people can see the flow and the highlights and get emotionally attached to your house. It is hiring higher quality photographers and paying more for photography so that we can get the best pictures to highlight your home. Along with that, we've always included custom floor plans for your property, which means that buyers can see online the layout of your property and your room sizes as they compare to each other. That's a huge benefit for people trying, you're going to avoid the people trying to schedule showings to see how things flow and how things move. They can see it right there online. Some things we are moving towards as in this new environment. And quite frankly, the entire realtor community is all on board with a number of these things, and we're all working together. We can do virtual showings. If you would like to do a FaceTime walkthrough during a showing, we can set that up and make that happen. We've done that with out-of-state clients in the past. It's not a new process for us. Obviously, we do want you to get in and feel the house if there's an opportunity to do that. Quite frankly, the FaceTime options are a good option for a lot of people. We can do virtual client consultations. So if you're thinking about selling or you're thinking about buying and you're ready to have our initial chat, we can always do that over the phone, or we can do it online. If you want to do it through Zoom or FaceTime or another face-to-face method, we can certainly set that up and make that work for you. Title companies and lenders are working furiously right now to figure out virtual closings and get that taken care of. But where we're at today is many title companies are at the point where groups will go in one at a time. Agents and lenders are asked to stay away from closings at this point. Agents are also kind of asked to stay away from inspections at this point, and try to limit the contact that people will have. But we are close, I believe, to finalizing virtual closings, which will change that process as well. We've all agreed to really slow down or stop open houses. They're not going to be happening during this time period. We don't need 25 people. We're not supposed to have 25 people coming into a place at one point in time. So open houses will not be a thing right now, which means if you want to get in and see a place or you want more information, you can't really wait for the open house. Give us a call and we can figure out how to get you inside. We talked a little bit about our marketing, and one thing that we've done on and off throughout the past is what's called a MATTERPORT. And if you guys think about like Google Street View, where you can kind of walk through the street and go up and down the street, it's the same process with the property. In fact, I think we're gonna stick a little video up here so you can see the MATTERPORT. And it gives people an opportunity to kind of walk through the property and turn around and see it from different angles. It's really a great thing. I think it was underutilized by people before this, but I think moving forward, it's going to be something that we're going to try to include with as many listings as possible. And finally, one thing I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more of are sight unseen offers. I actually received one on a listing before this happened that was slightly off market. I've written them for clients before. I don't love them, but I think they are going to be a realistic option for people in this environment. What this means is if you can get your offer accepted on a property without going to the property, we write in that it is contingent upon your visual inspection of the house within a certain time period. And that gets you to the accepted offer point and allows you then to still confirm that that's what you want to do. So you want to be careful. You don't want to, throw these all over the place. You want to really make it about a special property, but it's a way to kind of limit, what you're going into out of, and still get to an accepted offer point, on a property that you're really, really excited about. Finally, as we can get our hands on things, we're trying to keep things like hand sanitizers and stuff like that at listings. Again, it comes down to a supply thing, but if we can get that, we want to set those up by doors. Try to keep doors open so people aren't opening, closing doors inside of properties, and limit the amount of things that people are actually touching when they are at a house. Hey everybody, I forgot to originally mention too that nobody is seeing a place without a pre-approval letter now. In fact, on our listings, I'm going to ask that they are delivered before a showing is confirmed. We can't be taking people that don't even have a pre-approval into properties right now. And then the other thing being that we are trying to limit the number of people that go on showings. So leaving kids at home, not bringing mom and dad, all that kind of stuff as well. So sorry for the edit here, but something that I forgot about originally when I recorded. I understand that was a lot of stuff to digest if you're actually still watching at this point in the video. I get that. Here's the Cliff Notes version of what we talked about. A lot is happening and we need to stay flexible. The market will shift, but we have a long ways to go to get back to recession levels in terms of having that giant surplus and few closings. Moving is still an option if that is the right situation for you. Our marketing is already set up to market your home during this type of a market because buyers will really get all the advantages to feel what it is like to be in your house through our video work, through our floor plans, through our photography, and possibly through a MATTERPORT walkthrough tour. We are all working very closely with each other to ensure that buyers and sellers alike have the opportunity to remain safe throughout any process. And we are putting things in place to make sure that we can remain flexible, but do as much as possible to keep things moving forward, to get people to where they want to be. So that's it for right now. I'll probably check in periodically here from my basement office where I have no sunlight. Just to try and keep everybody up to date with how things are shifting and how things are moving, because we will be moving frequently, I believe, over the next few weeks. So if you have any questions at any time, or if you want to debate whether or not the Badgers would be advancing to the next round of the NCAA tournament next week, let me know. I'm always happy to talk and be in touch. So thanks so much for being part of our lives, and we'll talk soon. Take care.